Hi, it's Dr. Mercola. Today we're going to talk about personal hygiene and some of the ways you can do that in a non-toxic way. Interestingly, sunlight is something that most of us aren't aware of that can be really useful for personal hygiene because ultraviolet rays are actually sanitizing. That's why people previously would hang their clothes out to dry and it would sanitize their clothes. So it also sanitizes your body and the bacteria on your body. It's certainly not going to clean your body, remove any dirt or grime, but for the bacteria, if you expose the sunshine to your body, you can actually kill them. And this is actually one of the reasons that people use soap as an alternative to antiperspirants is their armpits where the bacteria grow. But you could also expose sunlight to that, and that would be essentially sterilize your armpits, and you would have no odor. Very powerful, very simple. But of course, most of us are going to use soaps, and we're going to use soaps in the bathroom environment where we're showering. So before we talk about the soaps and be careful how you can pay careful attention there, it's important to consider the water, because the water, of course, can be another source of toxins, such as chlorine and disinfection byproducts and fluoride, and it becomes even more important because you're going to volatilize that, and you could need exposure in a few minutes of showering as you may in drinking water for a few days or even a week. So it's really important to pay attention to the details here, and ideally like some type of filtration system, maybe ideally a whole house water filter or at least a shower filter to reduce your exposure to these toxins. But certainly it's going to be made worse if you're choosing toxic cleansers. So many people are just germ phobic and they tend to select cleaners that have antibacterial properties. And I'm telling you, that is just absolutely unnecessary. The most common antibacterial component that's used in soaps is triclosan. And actually, this is non-controversial, and I'm not certain why it's not barred or banned from commercial soaps and products, but it isn't. It's pervasive, but it's been well documented that this is a potent and unnecessary part of soaps. It's a potent contributor of health problems. So I would clearly avoid triclosan. Just plain soap, washing is going to be more than sufficient to disinfect and sanitize your hands. That's all you need is a soap action. That will kill all the bacteria and viruses. You don't need a disinfectant. Now, another common product that is used in many cleansers, many soaps and shampoos and even toothpaste is sodium lauryl sulfate, or SLS, which is a surfactant. And it is actually a chemical, and when it combines with nitrosamines, it becomes a very potent class of carcinogen. So it's something that you do not want in your cleaning hygiene products. So read the labels very carefully and make sure it has no SLS. Now, some of the other chemicals that can be present in your cleaning products would be things like dioxane. That is really should not be there. It says it's found to be a potent producer of cancer. And then parabens, which are estrogen mimics, and they're widely used as preservatives. They tend to stay around quite a while and be deposited in the fat tissue. Propylene glycol is another chemical that you'd really like to have out of your system and not in your products, as are fragrances, because most of them are chemicals that we're just not sure what the potential consequences of those would be. Now, another issue, you would think that it would be wise in selecting your products to choose an organic product, and I would agree with that, but the problem is when it comes to cosmetics and soaps and such, is that there's a perversion of the organic label, and that they are not required to use the same standards as foods. And the only way that you can be sure that a product is truly organic with soaps is if it has the USDA, Department of Certification, organic product. If it doesn't have that label when it comes to cosmetics, it may not be. In fact, the Organic Consumers Association did a study a few years back, and they found that a high percentage of these products that contain soaps and cosmetics were in fact had cancer-causing substances like dioxane. So pay real careful attention. I do think it makes sense to choose organic products, but make sure it has a USDA seal on it. Now, in these challenging economic times, of course, the safest and least expensive way to find a safe cleaning products is to make them yourself. And you can simply use the internet and Google to find, or your favorite search engine, to find recipes on how to do this. You can type in natural hand cleaner or a natural shower gel, and you'll find a recipe or a number of recipes on how to make them yourself. Now, some of you may like that, some of you others may not, because you just don't find it very efficient or you don't have the inclination to do that. So if you don't do that and you want to find a manufacturer that's going to provide you with safe products, let me give you some guidelines that you can use to find one. First, as I mentioned, you want to make sure that it's USDA organic certified. That's because it's really the only label that is going to be sufficient to confirm that that's going to be the case. Ideally, it should be totally non-toxic without any questionable ingredients. And being made in the United States from certified organic oils and extracts is also a good plus. You don't want it to be made with petrochemical, synthetic ingredients, or sugars, or alcohols. It should be free from artificial colors, fragrances, and chemical preservatives, and should be free from any measurable free alkali, which is the most common irritant in soap. So pay careful attention to that. And ideally, it should be made without any animal products or animal testing. We've actually put together a product like this, and it's made from all organic ingredients. It has a really important USDA organic certified label. And it's made from things like coconut oil, jojoba oil, palm oil, aloe vera, shea butter, rosemary extract, and orange oil. So, it really provides a safe cleansing material for you and your family so that you don't expose you or your family unnecessarily to these potential toxins. So many times the devil's in the details, so it makes sense to do a little due diligence up front to identify a product or a process that's going to eliminate that additional source of potential toxins to you and your family. So hopefully this is great information that you can use to keep your family clean and helping to continue to take control of your health.